Superb.
Right then, guys, it is October the 28th, 2022, and we've got had a small group this week. We've had 9 people in this group, but what a great bunch it's been. So I've managed to dissect them into a 5 and a 4 because intellectually they were good enough to pull this off. So the first team up is Andy Kerrigan, or as I fondly refer to him, Andy K. And when he's ready, Andy, as soon as you're ready, my friend, I will start the timer. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Hi guys, my name's Andy Kerrigan. I'm project manager. I'd just like to welcome you all today on your sunny trip down to Liverpool. I hope it wasn't too bad at all, and I hope at the end of the day that you're going to sit back and enjoy our presentation. Basically, we have a building, 1950s building, and we've got a few problems that we need to get rid of before we progress any major works. Just briefly running through our scope of works that we need to take into account. We've got hazards on the site, and the first one being asbestos, which is in the existing building. Secondly, we've got contaminated land surrounding the building and the actual demolition process itself, which is a high risk. Also, what we're going to do is carry out an ecology survey just to conduct and see if there's any great neutered crest in the building. We're also going to carry out a refurbishment and demolition survey. That's just going to be throughout. And investigation works to the rear wall of the recreation building also. The actual sequence and the scope of works will follow. First of all, will be the removal of the asbestos itself. Then we'll have the soft strip, followed by the scaffold erection, structural demolition, and then we'll be removing all the ground slabs and foundations. Once we've done that, we're going to crush all the concrete and masonry to a certified 6F2 aggregate, and then finally do a reduced level dig. Before we leave site, obviously, we'll leave it nice, clean and tidy. On this slide here, as you can see, we've got in the top north corner, north elevation, we've got the office, canteen, toilets and drying room. The site setup itself on the site office will consist of 2 cabins, and they're going to accommodate 8 desks, and one that will have the first aid room in as well. The other 4 cabins are going to be used for the canteen and toilets, and shower facilities, 2 cabins each. Just basically to talk more about the actual waste storage, or waste storage on site of any materials, tools we have. In the top left-hand corner, you'll see we've got designated 3 spaces. One is for the tool storage, one is for the cosh, and during the asbestos removal, we're going to site the decontamination unit, and that'll be on the northwest corner of the site next to the offices. And we're going to keep obviously the cosh and the tool storage together. The decon unit, obviously, we're trying to keep that as close to the actual works as possible. So there's going to be a lot of temporary storage in the middle of the area as well, and this can be used for both vehicles and goods when necessary. What I'm going to do is hand you over to Andrew Slater, who is head of our operations.
Thank you very much, Andy. Yeah, I'm just going to talk a bit about site security. So the site is going to be surrounded with a plywood hoarding to incorporate the 4 fire exit doors for any emergency. Also, there's going to be a 24-hour CCTV camera system surrounding the whole perimeter of the building. The site. There are going to be two guards on patrol 24/7. You'll get to know these guys quite well. The access to the site for the site personnel will be through the main gate, and there'll be a biometric turnstile system there. So everyone will be logged in and logged out of site. Visitors are going to sign in on a register located in the security gate hut. And if we go towards our next slide, there are going to be 4 emergency fire exits located on the drawing as follows. One's going to be on the west side of the hoarding, leading into the Riverside Cafe. One's going to be located on the east side of the hoarding, leading onto the adjacent car park. That's going to serve as our fire assembly point as well. So that's an important reference point to note, that this is going to be our muster point. The other 2 are located at the main site entrance through both vehicle and pedestrian site entrances. There's going to be 5 fire points located in strategic places as per the site plan. They are going to be equipped with water, powder, and CO2 extinguishers, as well as a synchronized wireless fire alarm call that's going to be tested every Thursday at 9 a.m. In the event of an accident on site, the first aiders will be located in the site office or identified on site with high-vis jackets and stickers on the helmets. The security guards will escort any emergency services onto the site and to the location of the incident. In the event of other emergencies, i.e. major burns, scaffold collapse, the storage area in the middle of the site will be used as a holding area for the emergency vehicle stroke personnel, just to cope with the major incident. And that follows on to our next slide. For the traffic management, we're going to have a one-way system to avoid any reversing vehicles on site. If there is and has to be any reversing, that will be with a qualified banksman. The access to site will be from the main road, Brambley Road, with left turns only for both ingress and egress. So no crossing the highway. It's quite important that we don't hold traffic up. All vehicles and pedestrians will be segregated during works. At certain places around the site, there will be a crossing point identified by the red coloured hoop. These are the only crossing points to be used on site. Security will monitor speed limits and give a brief induction to the delivery drivers regarding the movement of traffic on site. All vehicles accessing the site must ensure their call ahead to the site managers. When driving on the site, the vehicles must stick to the site's 5 miles per hour speed limit. And when driving off the main road through the site, the vehicles must be escorted by a banksman, as there may be personnel moving around the site. And I'm going to hand you over to our site manager, Alex.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I'm Alex. I'm one of the site managers, and I'm going to take you through the document control that we're going to do before we commence our working on site. So we're going to ask our contractors to submit all these documents prior to the work commencing. We're going to ask for risk assessment, method payment, relative permits to work, cost assessment, data sheet, scaffold inspection register, plant and machinery inspection, and other relative documents, LOLA, pure register, HAT register, and also from all the workers to come on site for induction, they have to provide valid certifications and approved trainings to prove their competency before they even go and the induction. Regarding the welfare, as you can see in our site plan, there are going to be 2 cabins for the canteen to accommodate 6 tables with 4 chairs, hot and cold water suitable for washing and drinking, means to make warm drinks and heat food. We're going to have 2 microwave ovens, 2 fridges, 2 kettles, changing room areas and closed storage suitable for all workers. And also there are going to be 2 cabins to accommodate the toilets and showers facility, which is going to consist of 5 male cubicle toilets, 2 separate female toilets, 1 transgender toilet, and also 2 shower cubicles. Also around site, you're going to find signages to give you the appropriate information and that you need, and also to facilitate your orientation around the site. First of all, you're going to find around the offices and the canteens the agency poster, the F10 form, the company health and safety policy, and the company insurance policy, alongside the mental health policy statement and the contractor information board. And around the site, you're going to find all the relative signages based on your location, and you're going to find signs like 5-point PPE, fire exit, moving plants, machinery, moving vehicles, no smoking signs, fire assembly point, asbestos zone, contaminated ground, workshop facilities, first aid room, scaffold signages, invasive plant species, waste management signs, exclusion zone, COSH, pedestrian footpath, green zone, speed limit, fire point, and many others based on where you are and what are the requirements and stuff. Now I'm going to pass you into my colleague, Babatunde, which is the assistant manager, and he's going to tell you about the site rules. Babatunde.
Morning, everyone. Just as my colleague Alex just said, I'm the site manager. I'm the assistant site manager today, and I'm going to be walking you through the site rules and the site inductions. So first of all, the site rules for this project are located in the site file on the reverse of your induction form. Please ensure you've read and understood before signing your names. A copy of these rules will be issued to all contractors at the pre-start meeting and induction, and will be brought to the attention of every person working on site during the site induction. A copy of the site rules will be displayed on the project's health and safety notice board, if you're wondering. These will be reviewed throughout the project's duration. Every worker must be aware of the contents of the meta statement and the risk assessment, and also the company health and safety policy. And all registers should be signed and dated by each member of the staff before work commences. Now, here I'm going to be talking you through a couple of site rules we've got. First of all, anyone caught either under the influence of alcohol or drugs will be immediately dismissed from site, because we've got a zero tolerance for alcohol and drug use. Also, the site will be a no smoking site. So if you do want to smoke, you will only be allowed to do so in the designated areas only. All staff must act in a responsible way at all times on site and ensure that safety and safety to others is paramount at all times. Any horseplay will result in immediate dismissal from site. Now, all key personnel, all keys must be removed and doors locked when plant is not being used. Members of the public must be treated with utmost respect at all times. So please respect everyone. Also, no parking is permitted outside the site entrance prior to 8 o'clock in the morning. No one other than the trained personnel with permission to do so will operate any plant or equipment. Every single worker must be suitably dressed for their work applications. Regs are not allowed on site today. Do not interfere with the invasive species. So if you do find one, please you can find one. Look for the assistant, look for the site manager, and please make them aware of that. No reversing vehicles at any time on site, please. Any abusive behavior would not be tolerated, so please treat everyone with respect. No personnel are to congregate outside the site during break times. If you've got any tools, please keep them clean and maintained in good working order, and be locked away or made safe at the end of working shifts. Also, I'd like to point out that all operatives must observe a strict hygiene policy and thoroughly wash their hands before eating or drinking to eliminate hand and mouth contamination and the possibility of infections due to Wells disease. We're going to be enforcing a 5 miles per hour speed limit. Anything above that, you will be kicked off site. Respect the ingress and egress to side left turn only. The site boundary must remain undamaged and be suitable to prevent unauthorized access to the site. All portable batteries to be charged only in the designated charging points. Please, no misuse of the turnstile. So please respect that as well. No pouring of chemicals down the drains. We will not be allowing sleeveless shirts on site, and no shirts will be allowed on site as well. So everyone must comply with the dress code. Please respect the waste segregation rules. We don't want to be mixing materials. So any unsafe acts should be reported immediately. So if you've noticed any misconduct on site, please, you know who to find. It's the site manager. Please let us know. Now, I'm going to walk you through the induction, which will take place every Monday and Wednesdays from 8:30 in the office, and it's going to be conducted by the health and safety representatives. Now, prior to the induction, every worker needs to fill an induction form and have proof of their competency. So we will be accepting, if you've got like a picture of the CSCS card on your phone, we'll be taking a copy of that for verification. The site induction is going to cover the following subjects. You must have made sure that you have gone through site tour. Also, you must understand the location of fire extinguishers and thoroughly understood emergency evacuation area procedures. Also, you must have gone through the site hazard to be aware of and understand the incident reporting requirements. Also, you must understand the site access and understand the sign in and sign out process. You must have understood the site rules as well, and we will not be tolerating a blame culture. So please, no blame culture on site. You must have understood the mental health awareness policy as well. And that will be it. So now I'm going to be handing you to my colleague, James, who's the site manager. Number two, we've got two site managers on site. So James.
Good morning. My name is James. I'm the site manager. I'm going to take you around through the permissions and notification for this project. First, permission from the adjacent office building will be required to be used for car park and assembly point in case of any emergency. Water and electrical connection permission and metering will be required. Highway permissions to make access on and off site. We will need permissions of the council to demolish the existing building. Also, we need permission from the council to remove the trees at the entrance, because it may have the tree protection order. Also, we need permission from the environmental agency for the tree removal and invasive species, as well as contaminated soil. Council, we have to be informed of the dropped curbs. We also seek permission from the Thames Water to connect the valve train and services, as well as seek permission from the same Thames Water to expel rainwater into the local water source. Now, from this point, that would take me to the mental health policy for the project. For immediate understanding, we'll start like what is workplace mental health? Physical injuries or serious accident in the workplace always comes with risk assessment and management strategies. How to apply immediate care or how to eliminate the root causes. Businesses will spend thousands on implementing these legal and moral obligations. But when it comes to workplace mental health, less is done to identify issues, let alone handle them. Nearly 70 million work days are lost every year because of mental health issues. But we need to look beyond the numbers and focus more on individual cases, especially in construction industry. Taking full care of your staff leads to a happier workplace, efficient production, legal compliance, and overall well-being security. Mental health awareness is just an important obligation as legal compliance and hazard awareness. By caring for your staff, on all levels. You hold a secure workplace for your staff and grow positive mental well-being. Members of the site management teams are going to be mental health first aider, trained, and that are going to be available to anyone on site at any time. We are going to inform the workers during the induction about who are the mental health first aiders and where they can be found, and also posters with the above informations are going to be displayed around the site. Also, information with helplines for professional advice that are better suited for their needs are going to be displayed around the site as well. We're also going to organize recreational activities weekly to facilitate communication between the workers and also help with the stress relief. That's competitions with a free message from the winner and 5 aside football competitions on the weekend. This presentation, we have to move to our project manager for concluding part of this presentation. Thank you, Mr. Handy.
Thanks, James. Thanks for that. Excellent. Just to let you know, we are part of the Consider Constructors scheme, and what we'd like to do as a gesture of goodwill, we'd like to provide some play equipment to the park, which is located just north of the, just behind our offices, basically. And just to give something a little bit back to the community, and for any inconvenience or disruption we've caused. Also, what we have noticed is just by the bridge, there's a section of fence that's been damaged, so we're going to repair and replace that as well. And that'll just keep it nice and safe for everybody else using that footpath. And obviously with the children around that area, they can't gain access into the river. Well, you know, what a fantastic presentation from the team. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll open up for any questions.
What is traditional at this part, though, is just to give that a round of applause before
we've got it.
questions.
Well done, guys.
That was really good, boys. Well done. Really good.
Wow. Right, let me just stop the stopwatch. Okay, good timing. Good timing.
Well done.
Thanks very much for that. That was a great presentation, and it really gives us a good picture of what you're intending to do. I've got maybe a couple of things that guys, Richard and Adrian, you don't mind if I just ask a couple of questions here, and then you can pitch in if there's anything else that you think about. Is that okay?
Yeah, please do, mate. Please do.
All right. Okay. So I suppose a couple of notes. I noticed there's a bit of Japanese knotweed in the site there. So I'm just wondering how you're planning. I didn't hear any mention of how you were going to control that on site, and that would be something as a client we'd be very concerned about and spreading that. So,
well, the intention is on one of the slides there. We have identified it and we've buried it around as well, and notified the authorities. So we're not going to get involved with touching that at the moment.
Okay, but as you might know, that does kind of spread quite a lot with the spores. So are you going to have any sort of monitoring regime just to make sure that that's going to be?
Yeah, there will be regular monitoring on a weekly basis, and the barriers and that we'll have a checklist for the supervisor to just make sure that they're in place and no one goes near it at all.
All right, okay. And then what about I see you've got the Riverside Cafe there, and you've got existing offices there. So what consultation have you done with them about getting access to site and things like that? Have you spoken to them?
We have, yeah. We've done a basically pre-start. We had a pre-start meeting with them because I don't know whether you noticed there, we've got a fire exit which we've had to use for next to the CAF. So we consulted with themselves and also the leaseholder because they're leasing that building off. So we had a pre-start meeting with them, and just to inform them, and it was agreed that we could use that as on the left-hand side of the site as a means of fire escape.
Okay, and what about? I take it that where your muster point is. Have you been? Have they agreed to? Is the parking off site? I don't see anything about the parking there. I take it that is the parking in that. Is that right? Yeah.
Basically, what we've agreed is the parking's off site up by the roundabout. There's a car park area. So the only we're not going to use the existing building's parking space. The lads are going to park off site. But what we had an agreement with them where we can just use a section of it for the muster point itself. And we've just put the signage up there, and they're aware that we can have 3 bays at any one time where we can form a muster point.
Right. So where do you intend to set the park? I take it you're not planning to have it on the road.
No. It's actually up. If you look by the roundabout, there's a designated car park.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. I just wasn't clear on what where the car park arrangements were for the guys.
Yeah,
and how they would get safely to site. But I see there looks like there to be some sort of pedestrian access.
Yeah,
at least most of the way there, which is good.
That's both sides, and obviously the first point of call will be our site security, and they'll escort them into the site hut, where if there's any visitors, we'll get them to sign, and any of the operatives, obviously they'll be registered on the biometric turnstile system.
Okay, and I suppose then maybe on a more note of concern for me at this stage would be as maybe how you're planning on raising the awareness of asbestos obviously has been identified in the building, that we're providing that asbestos register that we're given to you.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear any mention of how you're going to mention control or asbestos, and how you're going to raise awareness on with the site team, either in the site rules there or in the site induction. So I would be very, obviously I know you all have a plan in place, but to give me the confidence, I would like to see a bit more. A bit more on that, really.
Yeah, sure, not a problem. What we've done, when we do the induction, we go through this slide as well, and that's why we mentioned the decontamination unit in the top left-hand corner. Now, the first task, the scope, will be to get rid of the asbestos. So the first contractor is going to be the asbestos lads on site. Predominantly, it's just going to be them for the first couple of weeks while we do the strip. So they'll be well aware of their task of works. There won't be anybody else that may come on at before will be inducted, and will obviously know about the we'll communicate effectively to them about the asbestos strip, but by which they won't be allowed into the area anyway. So
yeah, okay. I definitely like to see a bit more on that, and just about how you're going to
we've got signage all over the place as well. It's just to segregate it.
Yeah, well, of course, that's a key word there: segregation of the asbestos from the conventional waste, and how we're going to control that, and how we're going to take it off site. I know that's part of the asbestos control. I get that, but I would just really, from a high level point of view, we need to just see a bit more information around that. Now, okay, we'll take it up again, Andy. I've got one more question, right, and I'm going to stop hogging the questions if that's okay. But it's just, I think your mental health policy. I didn't really hear a statement of intent in there. Okay, we got all these statistics, but really, guys, what is your business, going to do? What's your contribution to this mental health conversation here? I would really want to see a bolder statement there on what you want to do there. I get that, and I like some of the measures you're putting in place there, which are all admirable. But really, I would really want a stronger statement of intent there. There's maybe a few more, but I'm going to leave maybe other people to ask a few questions, if that's okay. Andy, but just maybe you can answer that one, or just maybe that's a bit of feedback. It's just a wee we can do. We're happy to help with that as well. You know, 'cause it's-
no, not a problem, Chris. It's welcomed that question. I mean, we're not professionals in mental health, and I think that's the first thing that we'll hold our hands up with. But what we will do, we'll recognise the signs of mental health, and we offer and provide an open door policy by where we provide the information in the site induction, and we mention mental health awareness. There's posters up in the canteen and around site. We have an open door policy, and if we can't help in any way, and if that's just by a cup of tea and listening and a bit of a chat and whatever, then we've been in contact with AA, Samaritans, etc. We've got leaflets and phone numbers, and we can, if the buck stops there with us, we can't actually do any more apart from a friendly chat, then we'll pass on the information and leave it up to them. So basically, in a nutshell, to put into a policy, that's kind of it.
Good stuff. Richard,
Brilliant
any
questions
other
there,
questions?
Christopher. Really
sorry,
good questions, mate.
To be honest, the questions I had, I think my colleague here, Chris, has covered most of them, mate. So I'm more than happy to leave it there, to be honest, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Okay, let's give it a final round of applause. Absolutely brilliant.
Well done, guys.
Brilliant, man.
Well done.
Well done, Andy, mate. Under that pressure, boy, you done well there.